Hi, I'm Johnny from UltimatePaperMache.com, and I finally got my goat done. This is a Boer goat. I've named her Daisy. This is Mike, as a cat that was modeled after a cat that actually lives with me now. And he's actually the reason why I don't have a video showing me how to paint it. But before I get to that, I want to mention that what I really want to talk about in this video is the business of art. And I'm going to explain that in just a second. Now, about this cat. I kept taking this one out to the living room where Zeke is living, because Zeke is not allowed in the studio. He likes to walk around on tall things, and when he does, everything just flies. He's kind of clumsy, and so he's not allowed in the studio. So I kept taking Mike, this is Mike, kept taking him out to the living room to kind of check the colors to see if I had them even close to right. And then I would bring him back in here, I would change the colors, and then I would set him next to the goat and think, oh, well, that doesn't quite match. And so I kept making changes. And it got to the point where the video really didn't make any sense, so I just went ahead and turned off the camera. And one of these days I will make another one and I'll show you how I paint it. So now I really do want to talk about the business of art, of selling art, and I have a reason for that. The biggest reason was I was noticing that I was getting really stressed out when I thought about putting a price on Daisy and Mike. I told you right at the very beginning of this very long saga, you've got, what, 4 videos, 5 maybe, I don't know, there's lots. And I told you at the very beginning that the intention of this sculpture, and in fact the whole point of me even deciding to make a goat, was because I wanted to sell it and send the proceeds to the Heifer Foundation. I give them a little bit of money every year, and I wanted to make a larger contribution this year. But then when she got done, and I kind of fell in love with her because I really, really liked the sculpture, I found that I was really stressed out, and I thought it was because I didn't like the idea of putting it in a box and shipping it to somebody that I didn't know, because I kind of wanted it around. So I thought, okay, maybe what I'll do then is just find a local library that'll take her, and then she'll be here in the county, and that'll be more fun. But the longer I thought about it, the more I realized that I wasn't really stressed out about her not being in the house or the county or wherever. It really was the putting a price tag on it. And that was stressing me out because I've been out of the business of art for so long, I have no idea how to decide how much this thing is worth. Now I do know that I couldn't just add up the hours that I spent on it and add that to the amount of materials that I used in it. I decided to use the epoxy sculpt, which is kind of expensive, so you know that'd be like 50 or 60 bucks that are just in materials, and then I spent, what is it, 2 months or something with all those different changes that I made. And there's no way that that's going to work. You don't sell art based on how long it takes you to make it or how much it costs you to make it. You sell art depending on what the market believes that it's worth. The customer always set the price. You can put a number on it, and if they think it's too high or too low, they just won't buy it, or you'll end up losing money, one or the other. Because I have actually sold art before, so I do know at least that much. Because I haven't been in the art business for so long, I mean, even that was like 2 decades ago, before I had a computer. There might have been an internet somewhere, but I didn't have any access to it. So I'm not familiar with the business. Since I don't know what to charge for her, I would never know for sure if I was getting a good price. Kind of like with the real estate, you know, if you sell a house and you absolutely have no idea what the other houses in the neighborhood are selling for, and you just put a number on it, either you're going to price yourself totally out of the market because you really think it's worth a whole lot more than it really is, or you're going to be giving it away, basically. You don't want to do that. It just makes you very uncomfortable. And I'm also, there's 2 other reasons that I'm thinking that this is a good time for me to start looking into this. The one reason is that everybody I know keeps telling me that I should be selling my work. I have a strong belief that quite often it's a really bad idea to do what everybody tells you to do, because quite often it's not a good idea. But I have decided that I should probably look into it. I do think that most people who tell me that believe that I don't value my work because I'm not putting a price on it. For some reason that sticks in people's mind. If you're not selling it, if you're just keeping it in your own house, or you give it to people that you really care about, then somehow you don't value the work as much. That just doesn't compute to me at all. I love this goat. I really do. I can't imagine how putting a price on her would make me like her more or less. That's just completely irrelevant as far as I'm concerned. But people are telling me that, and so like I said, I decided that I probably should at least look into it because of that. And because I want to get the best price I can for the goat for the Heifer Foundation. But the other reason is that I get, well, like just this week, I think I've gotten 3 emails from people who are thinking about selling their own work. And I think it's a really good time for us to be having that conversation, just because so many people are letting me know that they're thinking about doing it too. And because it seems like I really need to know what I'm doing before I sell Daisy and Mike, in order to get the best possible price I can for that donation to the Heifer Foundation, I'm going to spend the next couple of months doing some experiments, reading everything I can, maybe even taking some courses so I can learn everything I need to about the business of selling art online. Now, I don't know if you're thinking about it or not. I'm hoping that this will be at least halfway interesting to you anyway as I follow through on this process. I will have to set up a new website. I'm not going to try to sell you guys sculptures that I made, mostly because you come to my website and to my channel because you want to make your own. That's the whole point. But the other reason is that I'm probably not going to be using paper mache. I'm probably going to be using the epoxy sculpt or some sort of epoxy clay instead, just because I really enjoy using it. It's not a better material than paper mache in any way, but I just really like using it and I want to learn more about it. So that's what I'm going to be doing. But I also think that if I have to start over from scratch, that even makes it a better experiment. And you guys know that I don't mind failing at my experiments. I don't mind doing things wrong and starting them over. Once I really focus on something, I'm going to follow it through. Like with this lady, whether, the first 2 attempts might not work, but I'm going to find one that does. So I think this will make a kind of a fun experiment for all of us to get in on. But I do want some help from you guys. If you have favorite artist websites, I would love to see them so I can see what other people are doing. I'm especially interested in sculptures, but I love looking at artist websites no matter what they're selling. So if you happen to have a favorite, I'd really like to see it. I'd also like to see your website, if you've got one, if you're selling your own artwork and you have some ideas for me, please help me out here. I would love to hear your experiences. And let's just have this conversation and see what this business of selling art is all about. I'm not very far along in this process, but I have tried to set up a system where I can take better photographs of my work. I'll go ahead and put those photographs down below in the post that goes with this video, so you can kind of tell me what you think of those photographs and if there's anything that you can see that I should do differently to make them better. This will be one of the first things that goes up on my website. You can't really sell just one thing. I think people know that if they've ever tried selling anything on Etsy. You put up one thing and nobody ever finds it. It's just not enough. So I do need to create a body of work, and that'll probably take a couple of months at least for me to actually get enough work that I feel comfortable putting it out. And it'll also take me that long to really decide exactly how I want my new website to look. Now, there is one thing that I'm hoping that you help me remember, and that is that in spite of all the experimentation that I hope to do, all of the reading I'm going to be doing, maybe even paying for some classes, I'm going to learn everything I possibly can about the business of selling art online. But once I get that done and I come to the end of that process, I might come to the conclusion that I don't want to be in the business of selling art. I think that's a perfectly valid thing, and I'm perfectly okay with it. But I do definitely want to know more about the market, so I'll have a price that I'm comfortable putting on the goat, and hopefully also finding a market for it so that I can sell the goat to someone who will actually pay that reasonable price, and so that I can send that money to the Heifer Foundation. And I know this has been a really long video, but I do hope that you'll put your comments down below and give me your feedback. Tell me what you think about this experiment that I'm going into. Like I said, I would really like those links to your favorite artists or to your website if you'd like to share it with us. If you have any experience in this sort of thing, selling art online, please let us know what that is if you're willing to share that too, because I would really like to get this conversation going. I know that YouTube allows me to put links in comments on my channel. I don't know if everybody else is able to or not. I know that sometimes comments get stuck in the spam filter at YouTube for that reason, but if that's the case, just come on over to ultimatepapermache.com. I'll put a link to this post right down below so that you can put your comment there. And besides, I'd really like to have you visit me at ultimatepapermache.com. I'll see you there.